Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to solder this mini toad guy for my market this weekend, and I'm going to complain about my markets this year. I've done like a record low of markets because I was trying to focus on like more specialty ones. And the year before, was it 2024? Maybe it was 2023, maybe, I think, actually. I tried the more expensive ones, I tried the little ones, I tried all of them. And it didn't go very well for me. And so last year I cut them down, and then this year I cut them even more. So I did 5 markets whole this year, and it'll be 6 after this one this weekend. And obviously things go on all the time, every single year. But this year it just like it hit different in the worst way possible. Like things just kept going wrong. Mostly the weather. It then like with the sales, I know the economy is absolute garbage shit show right now. So I'm not sure if that's probably part of it, but the weather really just it took me out. Like out of the 5 markets that I did, all of these are outside, okay? Thankfully, my last market of the year this weekend is inside. Thank goodness, because I have done outdoor markets in the winter and it was not pleasant. So out of the 5 markets, 2 of them were sweltering hot. And we're not talking like just like heat. I can do some heat, okay? Humidity. The humidity was just so atrocious. It made me never want to do summer markets again. And I actually told my family, I was like, should I just like not do summer markets? And they're just like, no, like, because like that would bring my market count down to like maybe 3 if I cut out the 2 markets that I did in the summer. So 2 were like just sweltering hot and miserable the entire time, like for the first time. So I did wear jewelry. Sometimes I don't, but I wore jewelry, and my whole entire neck was green by the end. I didn't realize one of them was fake, I guess. Where I've never had the issue with that set. And I didn't, no one told me. I'm sure everyone was just suffering. But it was just like, it made me never, I was over there on Instagram being like, do I just leave? I'm being so for real. It was that miserable. And then 2 of them got rained out. So now we're on 4 markets that were just, did not go very well because of the weather. Like for me, like being a vendor, being out there for 9 hours, 8 hours. So the first one that got rained out, we're talking like pouring drenched within like the first hour, I think. Maybe it went to I think it didn't even last an hour. Like we were just hoping that the weather would like pass us. You can never tell in the Midwest what you're gonna get. But I made one sale to the vendor next to me, and which was $35, and the downpour started, and we're talking like pools of water, like rivers. This was like kind of in an alleyway situation, and it got completely rained out. I'm looking off that stained glass is like okay, like it can oxidize, which would be a pain in the ass, but the chain is not waterproof. It's like coated, it's something coated with nickel, I don't know, but it can rust, and I've had rusting before when I've gotten rained out before of markets. This time I think it was good. I didn't see any losses, but that was kind of plain. This one was nice, but because they refunded us, thank fuck. It was only $30, so I would understand. I wouldn't be that upset. So like if they didn't refund us, it was only $30. And I did technically make my boot fee back. How much are my ghosts? $35. So I would have made $5. But they did refund us. Thankfully, they were chill. And the second one that got rained out was in the middle of summer, so I was like, okay, rainy season. And then the other one was in like, it was in October, and outside, and it was like forecasted, it was like overcloud, and it's like, are we gonna get hit, are we not? We did, like showers most of the day. This market I did sell like a lot at. People came out before the rain and during the rain, some of them. Like I made a big sale, like a $140 sale of like an older piece while it was raining, which I was really happy that I stayed. But that market, the potential there, it was their first, was it their first year? No, it was their first year being outside. But it was my first year there at that market, and it would have been like, the sales would have been crazy if it didn't rain, which is upsetting for like everyone involved. But of course, like after it rains, you have to dry out like everything. So like once like the first drizzle started, a lot of the vendors left because there's a lot of paper vendors, and like there's some like clothing, I think. So people have like fragile stuff, okay, that like their livelihood could like get fucked, you know, like losses in the hundreds, thousands. So I don't blame anyone for leaving, but I'm glad I stayed. But it was still just like so upsetting. And it did get pretty cold out too. So there's my first complaint. Weather. Fuck you, weather. Second complaint. 2 of my markets, 2 of them use AI. The first one, I was like, okay, well, you're not, it was like a Pride one, so it wasn't put on, it was like, it was a Pride event, so it wasn't just the market. So it's like, okay, you're not like supporting artists like specifically, like we're not that's not their goal. Their goal is to share resources and stuff. But it was just so, when I found their page, like it was, how much was this one? $40. This was one of the ones that was sweltering like hot, and like there's also smog from wildfires, so not the greatest conditions. But when I saw their Facebook, I was like, what is this, guys? Like, because they were sharing like history posts about like inclusion and stuff. And I remember one specifically that was like, it had like Native Americans, and it was an AI post of Native Americans. I was like, guys, what the fuck? Like, we have actual pictures of them, you know? Why are we using, first of all, stolen art? Second, resources, like, and I think it was just bad taste for like a Pride organization, like a queer organization to do. Anyways, it was disturbing, and so like I purposely didn't like share onto their page, like, you know, tag them and stuff, because I didn't want people to go onto their page and like think I didn't want to be associated. And then the second one that you say was like, I feel like this one is worse because their whole thing, they have a store. This is a store that like has the hosts are a store, and they have artists, like their business is run by small businesses, like small artists and that sort of thing. So, and there's specifically like an arty market. It's specifically a market for the artists. Like, so when they use AI, like I was already like locked in. Everyone was locked in. We already paid them. Everything was done. Also, this was like one of my biggest markets of the year, like last year. It wasn't this year, but I was very excited. And then like that just like diminished all of my excitement when they post like a AI picture of their shop, I think, and they were like trying to defend themselves. Like they didn't even defend themselves. People were like, really, guys, this is like really disrespectful in their comments and such. And they just decided to delete comments. I did like one of them. I was screenshotting the shit out of all this, by the way, because I was like, I cannot believe this is happening. I don't know if they've used AI before, but that was the first time I saw them. Obviously, if they did, I probably wouldn't have applied at all. But they just like decided to delete everything, and then I think they deleted it in like the middle of the night because I'm sure people just kept commenting. It was too much work for them to delete it. And then I don't think they mentioned it at all again. So that was disappointing, and just it made me not want to go at all to their market, because I was just like, this is what they support. Like, they're okay with this theft and like the fuckery it's doing to the planet. Yeah, it made me not want to do it, and I said that already. Oopsies. It was just extremely disappointing to see, especially in a space that was supposed to be for artists, and they support artists. Like, in one of their things, they're like, we'll never have AI in our store. Like, okay, yeah, but like, what about on your social media? And they also claimed, because someone gave them like a 1-star Google review over it, and they said that they never used it for like gain or like to make money or something, like marketing. But anything that you post on social media is marketing if you're a business. So like, I could just post this, marketing, bam, I could potentially make money off of that one post. So it was just like, your argument is weak, and I'm disgusted. Anyways, I don't think I'll go back to that one. Again, that was another one that had horrific weather, and then the sales were like kind of bad. I made over 1K last year, I think, and then I made, I think, maybe about half that. I think maybe even less than that, actually, less than half of what I made last year. Again, could be a comedy, or could be like marketing wasn't as well, the weather was ass, whatever. But disappointing, annoying, makes me not want to associate with people like markets. Let's see. Number 3. Oh, here's coming back to like people using like, so one of my markets, I saw like Native American imagery, and it was like a sports team that they don't like, they've come out and been like, do not use this, we do not use this anymore. And like, you can get like sued and shit for using this imagery of their old mascot. And I didn't see it during the market, but then like afterwards I saw it, and I was like, ugh. Like, did the event people see this? Like, was this on their social media? Who do I need to be disappointed in? And I did see it was like low on in their booth, and I was like, this, yeah, and I was just like, ugh, I don't want to associate with people who like profit, and it was these white people, and I was like, oh my god, why? It's one of those things that upsetting to see, that people can't just let that go, because they can't, yeah. Anyways, the tribe can't consent, or like the group, I don't know the proper language to use, but like, they can't, the organization has said, no, we don't use this anymore, give it up. It's not relevant anymore, and it's disrespectful to the communities that it represents. Like, ugh, gross. I hate it. I've been in a booth. I actually got stuck in a booth with somebody like years and years ago. It was like a winter market, so we were in these little sheds, and I found, like, I get there, right, and it's like, okay, fine. Like, setting up was kind of a doozy because it was just really chaotic, and I get there, and again, they're like hiding them like in the dark. So like, they had stuff in the booth and like out front, and then like in the dark, like there wasn't very many lights over there. They put like blue lives matter stuff, and also like a bunch of Native American imagery, and like, it was so disturbing. I did tell the market this like after the fact, and I also told them I wouldn't be back, not just because of my booth mates, but because it was like Black Friday, and I had I didn't have any sales that day. And then the next day, I think I had 1 or 2, like, I had barely any sales. But it was just like so uncomfortable. These people were so fucking rude. Like, people who like, they don't leave their bubble, and so they didn't think they were being rude, but they were. Like, they straight up, I shit you not, they were having a normal conversation. It was like a couple, right? They were having a normal conversation with this guy, this customer, and this is at a brewery. So customers coming in there, chilling, and they're drinking their beer and having a good time. They're talking about traveling, and I'm right here, right? I can hear everything. And the guy's like, they've traveled. The vendors had been to Canada, and they're telling them about like their trip or something. And the customer's like, oh, my wife is Canadian. She's from there. What does the vendor next to me say? He makes an illegal immigrant joke. I shit you not. And the customer, he looked so fucking uncomfortable. He had to come back. He said something along the lines of like, actually, she's the breadwinner because the vendor said something about them stealing jobs. Pretty sure, yeah. He said it was like just the most untasteful joke. He immediately followed up with jokes. Ha ha ha. But the customer did have a comeback, and he tried to leave the conversation immediately, and they kept talking to him. The couple, I guess they couldn't tell he was trying to dip. Like, he even said something that was like trying to exit the conversation because he physically looked so uncomfortable. Because of course, like, why wouldn't you be uncomfortable if someone just insulted your wife to your face? That was whack as fuck. Anyways, yeah, Native American imagery, Blue Lives Matter stuff. I am not white, so I was very uncomfortable as a POC in that tent. And some of the things I overheard them talking about to their buddies, not cool. Not cool at all. Okay, they got a little off track there. Was that number 3? Number 4. Oh man, I was put by the speakers at one of my markets, and we're not talking about like one speaker, we're talking about stacks. So like there were like huge ones, like 4 speakers, and I was only a few booths away. Like, oh my god, it was actually, you know, like the width of a street, the typical width of the street. They were over here, I was right on the other end, like in the middle of the street. So I was like right there, and I forgot my earbuds, I forgot my loops, y'all. Misery, and it was horrible outside. And it was just like too late to like change my booth, like try and change my booth, because, and also it's like, what if I get like a worse spot, you know? So I didn't raise any issues about it, but it was horrible. And I'm glad I had the market I'm doing this weekend. I'm so happy I'm like not, there's gonna be like carolers, I think, and thankfully I'm not near where they're gonna be, thank goodness, or I would have had to ask to move, because I'm not doing that shit again. What's next? At that same market where it's by, so mind you, sweltering hot out, okay? Disgusting. By extremely loud speakers, very close to the speakers, cannot escape the speakers. What's 15 feet away from me? Porta potties. Yeah, I was 15 feet away from porta potties. You could smell it. It did smell. It stank the entire time. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. It stunk like porta potty and shit. I'm so sorry. It was disgusting. And then also people decided to use that area as a smoke break spot as well. And there, mind you, this is me, alleyway. I'm right here. Like, not very far away. I don't know why they did this to the vendors. It was so evil. This is where I wish markets, it used to be, no, I got one last year, where they would give surveys of like, where can we improve? Were there any issues? What good things do you have to say? I want a survey, please. I'm begging. Because that was just so atrocious. Like, I'm sure, like, people did not want to stick around my tent, probably, because of that. Because, yeah, you could see some looks. And it was just like, and hearing the porta potty door slam all day was just not a vibe. Not a vibe. Yeah, that wasn't great. I've been near porta potties before, but not like that close where I could smell it. Smell it in the air, wafting into your nostrils. What lunch? Lunch? That was disgusting. Was that number 4? Moving on. That's probably the grossest one I have to say today. I'm so sorry for that. Let's see. Oh my gosh. The organization of markets, some of them I've done for years and years, okay? So here's number 4. We have going to, I applied at the normal time, and then 4 weeks before the market, what do? They open applications again. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't like they didn't explain themselves, but it wasn't like we need more, like, I'm pretty sure they had enough applicants, but they must have not had them, because I know someone who applied who has like great art, and they didn't get accepted, and then they didn't even get a denial, actually. Like, they didn't, like, the organization is just a mess. I was like, that's just so disrespectful 4 weeks before. And then you guessed it, they didn't send out acceptance letters, so like knowing officially that you're gonna be in the market and like pay them and like advertise to your followers that you're gonna be there until 2 weeks before. Might have been even less than 2 weeks. It was a fucking disaster, and I might skip this one next year, blah. We'll see, because the sales were also like really bad, plus them just like randomly opening applications again, disrespecting people who applied on time, and it was just, oh god, why would you do that? 2 weeks? That's like no prep time. I could have found, like, I'm sure a lot of people probably found other markets to do. Okay, that is not the end of my list, but the end of this video. I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening to this year's market complaints.